What is up, people? So, last week you all might have seen that Vic Firth released a new performance from the VF Jam series they're doing by Greb, and they also released versions of that performance with a transcription.
Welcome to VF Jams Live. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for Greb.
I had the pleasure of working on that transcription, and I'm here today to talk a little bit about that transcription and kind of my favorite part of it. Before I get into any talking, you can skip to this point in the video, and that's going to be where the transcription starts at 100%, and then I immediately play it at 50% speed. So if you don't want to listen to me talk, skip to this part, and then I'll show you the transcription of Benny's solo, the video of him soloing, and a red notation bar to show you where we're at in the notation. Speaking of notation, if you want to download the sheet music, you can download that in the description below. There's a link where you can download not just the solo section sheet music, which I'm about to show you, but you can download the entire transcription of the entire song that Benny played. It's like 9 pages, and that link is in the description. So, skip to this point in the video to see the transcription video with the notation and all that fancy stuff. And then if you want to download the sheet music yourself, link in the description. Okay, for all of you that didn't skip to the end, I want to tell you a little bit about this transcription before we get to it. Now, again, you can see the whole transcription with the entire performance on Vic Firth's page. Today I'm just going to show you the drum solo because I wanted to show you the drum solo and talk a little bit about why I like this solo so much. Greb is one of my favorite players. Following him since like over 12 years ago. I discovered Benny on drummerworld.com, and just at that time in my life, it was, 15 years ago or whatever. I was young, and the only drummers I really gravitated toward were drummers that were flashy, and I only really liked watching drum solos because I was, a kid, and I wanted to, if the drums weren't impressive and fast and whatever, then I just didn't really care about it. But Greb was one of the first drummers that no matter what he was doing, whether he was grooving or playing a solo, he could capture my attention. And I still can't even put my finger on exactly why that is. But Benny's just always been one of my favorite players because no matter what he's doing, it's interesting, it's groovy, it's fun. He was just one of the first players I saw that would play groove and it could still hold my interest. So today I want to talk to you about this solo that's a part of the VF Jams performance he did. A few weeks back I did a video on how to solo, and I talked about a couple things that you could think musically. I'll put a link in the description, but I think this solo from Greb is a great real-world example of some of the stuff I talked about, and then even more so I think that the thing that you can take away from Benny's solo in this song is it's an amazing construction of a solo. He paced the solo really well. What I mean by that is a lot of us, when we get our chance to solo, we just start playing as many notes as quickly as we can. The band drops out and says solo, and then we're just immediately at 64th notes and we're like just going for it. And then 3 bars into that solo, we have nowhere to go. And if the solo's 32 bars, we really just peaked and we played a ton of notes, and now it's just like we're treading water until the rest of the band comes back in because there was no structure to it. There was no building into it. There was no bringing the audience along. We just kind of shouted at people for 3 measures, and then we were left to pick up the pieces. Benny does the exact opposite in this solo on this VF Jams performance. And what I mean by that is the first measure of his drum solo. This whole song up until the solo is pretty much constant 16th notes. And I don't mean that as a slam on Benny because he's playing really, really awesome. A lot of the 16th notes are ghost notes. He's just filling in kind of every subdivision in a really groovy, really musical way. And then for the solo, it goes from this constant 16th note thing to like nothing. The first measure of the drum solo, Benny only plays 2 notes. And then in the second measure, he only plays 3 notes. And I think that that's just an amazing, so many of us when we go to solo, we're scared of space, but Benny uses space, and he goes from these first 2 measures where he's only playing a couple notes to he moves into playing some 16th note solo ideas, and then every now and then throwing in a 32nd note or a 16th triplet, and he moves from that stuff to more and more and more 16th note triplet stuff, and then he moves from 16th note triplets to entire measures of 32nd notes, and then he throws in some 32nd note triplets, and then it all kind of reaches this peak of the fastest subdivision ever, and he's shredding and he's blowing your mind, and then he kind of slowly ramps it down until the band comes back in. And I think that so many of us could, even if we don't learn note for note exactly what Benny plays in the solo, if you just look at the sheet of paper and look at where it starts with so few notes and then grows into so much chaos, you can see how Benny's doing an amazing job of pacing himself through the solo and taking the audience on a journey. Before I roll this transcription, again, you can view the entire performance with the transcription on Vic Firth's page. I'm just going to show you the solo that I've been talking about at 100%, and then right after that at 50% speed. If you want the sheet music for this transcription, not just the solo, which I'm going to show you, but you want the transcription, the sheet music of the entire performance, you can go to the link in the description, and that is there for you. Again, you can see on Vic Firth's page, I'll put that in the description, where you can see the whole performance with the notation. And yeah, other than that, I'm just going to let Benny play now.